My name is Elizabeth and I'm from Norway. I've lived in the US for about a year and a half now. I've lived abroad before, but somehow it's different here. The culture shock when I moved here was much bigger than I expected. Until I moved to America, I had never seen so many car dealerships and chain restaurants. I had never really seen a strip mall. I had never seen a real poverty, and I had never lived somewhere you could not get around by public transportation. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's America. Do other foreigners have the same experience as I do? I decided to talk to 3 other foreigners and an American who just moved back after living in Europe for 10 years to see what they think about America.
I saw girls in bikinis. Seriously, that was it. Irish girls didn't wear bikinis. We didn't have the sun, for God's sake.
Everything was, signs for McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants, and everything seemed like a copy of everything else. Like, we stop at a town, to get gas, and then the next town would be exactly the same buildings.
When I used to walk into a grocery store, Safeway or whatever it was, I always thought the cashiers actually had shares in the business because they were so polite and they were so nice. I used to go back home and say, you can't believe what the customer service is like in America. Needless to say, I think it has deteriorated an awful lot.
People don't walk here. People just don't walk. It's like, oh, let me get my keys, my car. I'll walk a little to Chili's, I'll eat, back to my car, I'll sit on my ass and watch TV.
The wacko churches. The wacko Christian nutjob churches drive me mad. Anybody who starts down that, we may have to kill you. They're very in your face about their faith and their Christianity here, and which I find weird and troubling. It really kind of bothers me. It is scary because it takes away from it's not an intellectual solution. Accepting that God is in charge of everything and you're believing in that, it's very limiting.
After talking to these 3 foreigners, I wanted to hear what John, the American who lived in Europe for 10 years, thought about this.
The car culture is really strong in America. I lived in Europe for over 10 years and didn't own a car. Didn't need a car the whole time because I took the train or I took the streetcar or occasionally the buses, which I don't care for, but I took them sometime, and things like that. And you walk a lot. You walk around town because the cities are laid out all throughout Europe so that you can easily walk where you're going.
Healthcare in this country. I've never seen so many poor people walking around that really, really need to see a dentist. And there's only one thing to say about that, is that they can't afford it.
What these people were saying rang so true with me. There are so many sides to America that I find it hard to understand. I didn't just want to look at the negative. Although I have some issues with America, there are also things I find wonderful, like the friendly people, the openness, and all the opportunities.
A lot of good things about America. Probably one of the best is, I have a company, so if you're in business for yourself, America's the place to be.
People are prepared to take a chance on you. People will give you a job based on merit or just your personality, and people they're wide open for everything. I think that's probably my favorite thing.
The people I really enjoy. I like that you can work. Nobody worries how old you are.
I was surprised of how nice people were here at school. They were like, oh, do you need help? You need a ride? Everyone was like, oh, you're from Bolivia. That's so cool. Even if they had no clue where Bolivia was, they were still really nice to me.
Individuality is, it's like the individuality is respected in America. You're not always, this is like the cultural openness part of that, because you're not always expected to just go along with the crowd. And Europe is very much about groupthink.
After talking to everybody individually, I decided to get everybody together to see what would happen. I wanted to see if we would connect as a group.
I just love it when they go, we really love your accent. And where are you from? And I'll tell them and they'll go, if I go there, will they think I have an accent?
No.
And then
No,
don't
they
you love, are you from South Africa? Yeah. Well, I used to know somebody from South Africa. I think his name was Jones.
I have gotten that so many times.
Oh.
People have said to me, I knew a guy from Cork.
Yeah.
His last name was Murphy. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Of course I do. I know everybody in Ireland. Yes.
Yeah, I know
every single
everyone.
person.
No, it's hilarious.
But yeah, that is one of the peculiarities of America. You know, there's only 20% of Americans have passports.
I heard it was less than that.
No, I think just recently I just read it was 20%, they said. 20%.
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that this country's so big that people,
Yeah, and
you know,
a lot of people
don't
haven't
feel
even
like-
traveled America yet.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
why would they want to go outside?
Yeah, and they feel
Even
like
though
there's
we
no
agree
room
on
to
a
go
lot,
somewhere else.
we all have our own take on America.
That's another thing, like, they, like,
So, where do we go from here? Are we staying in the US or are we going somewhere else?
I want to stay in America, but I love to travel, so I don't want to be, you know, one of these Americans that's here and never leaves.
I can't see myself going back to Ireland. It's moved on. Ireland is a totally different country. And I like St. Augustine. It's a nice town.
I don't know. I just really miss my family.
I love Africa, but with the crime the way it is, I mean, you know, what's the point of going back?
So, what about me? Am I staying in America? Well, I guess time will tell.